Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To be on the second day as well, um, respected former Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India, Shri Gandhi, and for the kind words, Mr. Ravi Epaturi, and all the colleagues from the banking fraternity as well as from the BFSI sector. Good morning once again. It gives me great pleasure to address you on this IBEX India 2020 on future of digital banking, humanizing the experience. When this topic was given to me, it was sounding like an oxymoron. When you want to digitalize thing and then you want to humanize it, it becomes difficult for us. So there are three thoughts which came to my mind. Should the digital solutions mimic the human way of doing things? If that is going to happen, then we will not have any innovation coming into that space. The second thought was, will digital create a situation where human beings and the digital solutions or the digital technologies will compete for the same work or the same task? This will be the second thought which I got. And the third one was, should digital solutions also support a human interface, as in country like ours, where we are witnessing an overwhelming supply of human capital, which is coming into this year after year, which is qualified human capital which is coming in, and also a steep growth which we are seeing in the digital infrastructure as well. So these were the major thoughts which were coming in. But then my conclusion will be at the end. We will come to what I have in mind at the end. Or is this anything which is beyond these three things? What we mean by digital transactions, whether it is the mechanization or the computerization which we have gone through, all of us which we have gone through in our lives, which were the tasks which were carrying out manually, we have automated. It is not digitalization, it's primarily an automation or a mechanization of some repetitive tasks which we are doing. We are now trying it through the computers or the other devices. The RBI Ombudsman defines a digital transaction means a payment transaction in a seamless system effected without the need for cash in one of the two legs, if not both. And then if you had read the Nandan Nilekani report on deepening of digital payments, they decide to focus more on transactions that do not use cash in both the legs. That's the thing. But if you see India is a country which has got the highest currency in circulation to GDP ratio. It's about close to around 11 to 13%. And we are now looking at how do we reduce our cash and move into the digital space. So when I'm going to talk about it, we will see that we will not involve cash in this. We will try to make it as digital as possible, even though we tried to eliminate cash because of the demonetization things, but still cash came back with a bang, which we cannot dispute. We'll first look at the evolution of digital transactions. It started with the e-commerce transactions. I'm not going into the ATMs, the debit cards, credit cards, because they were all primarily not major digital interventions, I would say. It's the e-commerce which came in first, and then after the e-commerce, we came into the payment space. Payment space was getting digitalized. And this was primarily driven by the troika, I would say. There is the low cost, easy access to internet was one. The second one was the computing power of the mobile became very high. And then the innovations which were brought in the payment space, which drove this, the acceleration in the digital payments. And we saw a plethora of products coming in from that, where we started with the NACH to the IMPS, the BBPS, the AEPS, the BEAM UPI, all these revolutionized. Why I'm saying revolutionized is that it reached a critical mass within the shortest possible time. If you see the credit cards or the debit cards, it was there in the 1990s also, but the numbers didn't ramp up at all. But when you see the UPI, the rate at which the numbers ramped up within a short span of 2 years was phenomenal. And therefore, what is that it indicates? The accelerated volumes were primarily because there was a felt need and there was a technology which actually matched it. The convenience to use or the ease to use matched it. And these accelerated volumes enabled them to gain scale. And then the private players started investing in these digital technologies. You saw the Paytms, the WhatsApp, the Amazon, the Google, and then the Apple, Facebook, all of them using this as a platform to drive their products or services for which the payments are to be collected through these channels. And the telcos also stepping into this particular space for collecting their payments. And traditionally, banks were using the payment space, that is the collections and the payment services, as well as the remittances, primarily for augmenting their fee-based income. But then you found that when these players stepped into this space, there was a constant erosion of all this income going out of the banking space, because they were all primarily innovative products which were coming in from the telcos and the tech companies, the fintech companies, which were offering them at a far cheaper cost, in a far more efficient way and a more convenient